Facebook. And so you can watch us both there. Hey, everybody. All right, so I'm loading up Facebook. So, and what we do is after we do the show, we go ahead and upload the video onto my YouTube channel, which is The Conscious Living Show. So you can watch us over at the Conscious Living Show every, whenever you have time. And you can add questions. Hi, Story. You can ask questions and you can give us topics you'd like us to cover each week. We're really having fun doing this. It's a great girl time for us. And Karen will be joining us any minute here. And so I think it's, this is a good way for us to connect with people that have been following us and supporting our endeavors for a lot of years. For those of you who've been following me on Facebook or any of the other pieces of what I do, you know that it gets, sometimes I get a little fired up. I'm a passionate person and I have strong beliefs, but I also have a really open mind. So sometimes it might appear that I'm a little bit stubborn, but that's not always the case when people approach me respectfully. So I don't tolerate disrespect very well, but I am a good listener. So anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? It's warm here. All right, here comes Karen. Let's see here. I don't want to wave. So Karen's coming in. So it's warm here, hot actually. Got a nice walk in this afternoon and been doing all kinds of fun things to keep myself busy. I've been hired as the health educator and public relations, social media person for our urgent care clinics here locally. So that's keeping me busy and off the streets, which is good. All right, so let's see here how we're doing. Karen should be popping in. Try again, thanks. Did you ask to join? Let's see, Karen. Let's see if I can go live with Karen. All right, let's see. I'm waiting for Karen. I'm just figuring out this Instagram with another person. So there she is. Hi.
Yeah, here I am.
Yay. I was trying to.
I just got a message from Matthew McConaughey.
What?
Did you hear what I said?
What?
Matthew McConaughey just sent me a DM.
No. Like a real one or a fake one?
I think it's his real one because it was a while ago when he did a really nice Instagram message about staying home and how with the patients and take care. And I think I wrote something like, "You're amazing and you should run for president" or something. And just now I got, "Stay safe. Thank you for your message" or something.
Well, hell's bells.
Well, hell's bells it is.
Well, hell's bells.
Put a little
well,
my staff, didn't
here, cheers to you. Where's yours?
Cheers to Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing white tonight. Okay. Hey, everybody on Facebook.
I just felt like, I needed a little white tonight.
Need a little white tonight. So we've got.
I don't know. It's actually really good. I'm trying out these wines from Naked Wines, and they sent me Sauvignon Blanc.
You can't go wrong with a naked wine.
It's exactly right. I think that the pun is that it's like, shouldn't go by a label, it should go by the taste.
Exactly. So my friend Sam James, I saw him join here, and Sam is the one, he turned me on to a drink many years ago in Jamaica. It's a Cafe Patron. Have you ever tried that?
Well, I like it if it's tequila. Is that what that is?
It is. It's.
I got a lot of trouble with tequila many nights.
Well, I've gotten very drunk with Sam on numerous occasions. Let's just say this about that.
Hey, Sam. Let's party, Sam. Woohoo.
So,
hey,
yeah.
King Teat.
Oh, hey, there's King Teat. Good to see you again.
There's King Teat. So what's been happening in your world, Dr. Nan?
Oh, I'm eyeball deep in this public relations for the clinics. You know, the laws and the rules and everything's changing so much every day. So I'm researching constantly on the health and the science and guidelines from the CDC and WHO and what our government says, what our governor says, what our mayor says. You know, it's like, and what our public health department is and isn't doing. And so it gets a little much. I had to put out some boundaries for my husband today. In that,
what'd you do?
Well, I said, because he's a number watcher. So, you know, every so many hours he'll tell me what the numbers are of how many more people are sick or how many more people have died. And
my boyfriend does the same thing.
And I had to say today, you know, every time I hear the numbers, I feel my body sink. I feel my shoulders drop. I feel sadness come on, and I'm really struggling.
Anxiety come on.
I don't really deal with anxiety on this. It's more of a sadness feeling for me, which, you know, it may be just another form of anxiety. But I said, you know, let me seek the numbers when I want to seek them. And that way we're not always talking about that. And so he's like, okay, cool, you know. And then I said, for sure, if you want to have playtime with me, this is not a good conversation to have. It does not turn me on in any way, shape, or form.
I get so turned on hearing the death toll. I can't even tell you. I get death toll and I'm thinking I want to fuck someone's brains out.
Really?
I'm being sarcastic.
The numbers make me wet. No.
God, I'm so wet when I hear how many people died in fucking Europe and the world. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
So,
but on the other hand, you know, hopefully we'll be back to normal at some point in the next 2025. Maybe we'll be able to go out to dinner again.
Maybe.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Listeners, what do you want? All I want to do is go out to dinner again and have someone serve me food.
I want to be able to go to Hito with all my friends and not worry and be able to frolic naked and hug on people and give each other massages and do all those fun things that we do in Hito and not feel like I'm going to die because of it, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly. How do you ever go back to doing that? Oh my God.
I don't know.
So anyway, what do you guys think that are on this right now? Do you want to let us know what you miss the most and what you're looking forward to the most? I can't wait to be able to just like see my kids and hug my kids. That would be nice.
Okay, so I'm going to pose a couple questions on. So first,
are you on Facebook too?
Yeah. So I posed a question on Facebook. What are you attracted to first on somebody? So
do you want to answer first?
What am I attracted to?
Yeah.
I think it's the way a person carries themselves. that's
interesting. Like
posture, confidence, a little attitude, but not cocky. Just kind of, it's like they know who they are and they move through space with that knowledge, but it's not off-putting. So I think that's probably the first thing I notice about somebody. And then I'm a big fan of shoulders. I love shoulders. Yeah. Shoulders.
Well, I would not have picked either one of those. I did not. I mean, that's cool. What would I say? Two things. One, I love eyes. Eyes are important to me.
Yeah, me too.
Eyes, and especially if the eyes are looking at me instead of looking at my breasts or something.
It's like,
hello, I'm up here.
Well, when you have these huge jugs like I do, you know, it's such a problem that people always look at your boobs.
Slapping all over the place, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I enjoy, you know, and then the other thing is I love a nice smile too.
Oh yeah, well, smiles, laughter, you know. Mark told me something the other day that I thought was interesting because he was listening to our video and how often we giggle. And he was saying, he goes, oh boy, people will love your giggle. And I'm like, really? What's, and he goes, oh yeah. He goes that when men hear a woman kind of giggling and laughing and being playful, that says, she got a good attitude and she wants to play and be frisky. And that seems so. Thank you, Kinky.
That's right. Yeah.
So I thought that was, I hadn't really ever heard that before. So Linda, my friend.
You have a cute giggle.
My friend Linda she said then hands. I don't see the other one, Linda. What else did you say? I can't.
Hands. Hands is a new one.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a friend who has the most beautiful hands. And when I see his hands, I actually get turned on. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. He should have been a hand model. Beautiful hands. I mean, when I see him in person, when I see him I saw him in a video the other day, and I just went, whoa, those hands. I don't know, what they can do.
All right, I'm going to go one step. I'm going to say it, ass.
Ass, okay.
I like a guy with a good ass.
Okay.
A nice little round bubble butt.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of, on my Facebook, a couple of people have said eyes, and somebody informed me that he's got big shoulders. That's cute.
He's got big shoulders. They're trying to turn you on there, man. So listen to this one. When I asked before about what you missed or what you're looking forward to, a normal day at the beach or someplace where you're not afraid to talk or get close to someone. It's true. It's like people, I notice, I'm walking, and a few times I've taken a walk. I'm walking, and I normally say hi to everybody. If I see them, I'm like, oh, I'm a hiker, These people are afraid to even say hi. I think they think if they say hi, that means they have to stop and get something, They're like scared to say hi now.
And
if you have a mask on.
And something else I've noticed is people getting too close, not really being understanding what social distance is. So it's like, normally we have about an 18-inch span. And so when somebody starts to get like 5 feet now, I'm like backpedaling.
I mean, it's almost like you're playing a game of chicken when you're walking down the street. Who's going to move out of the way first?
My husband Mark got so upset the other day because he went for a bike ride, and he was riding up the street, and there was a group of about 25 people walking down the street together, and they wouldn't move. They did. And they barely parted for him. And the whole time he's going through, he's holding his breath, and he's like, Jesus, it's like they didn't make space for him at all.
And what are they doing with 25 people anyway?
Well, that was his other question. Yeah, it's like, seriously?
All right, let's go back to the nice smile. Okay. Conversely, if you have really like disgusting fucked up teeth, it's not a turn on.
Yeah. Dirty teeth is not
Brush
good.
your goddamn teeth. Brush your teeth, please. All right?
Yeah,
anyway,
for sure.
Just thought I'd share that with you.
So a lot of people like eyes, and I think they say eyes are the the door to the soul or window to the soul or whatever they say.
Yeah, I know it's kind of corny, but I love looking into someone's eyes, and if you can tell if they're really listening to you or if they're like drifted off in the space. And I think a lot of times couples tend to not listen to each other. They don't look at each other.
Well, that's one of the things I teach in my classes for couples in the Oasis. Is all communication is done sitting facing each other.
Yeah.
There's no side-by-side communication. You're sitting facing each other, knee to knee, whether you're sitting on the floor or in chairs, and you are looking at each other. And I teach eye gazing, which is usually we start with about 30 seconds because that's all people can do. We work up to 3 to 4 minutes. But if you eye gaze with somebody, look into their left eye. And just focus on looking into their left eye.
Why?
Well, that's
wandering eye.
Well,
hey, come over here.
Yeah, it's like
it's always confusing.
What you looking
at? Wandering eye.
But the left eye is said to be the receptive eye, and so their left eye.
If you're
Well, you have to look at them with both of your eyes. You can't just look with your own left eye.
Whoa, which eye? No, I'm saying if I
You would do that.
My left or your left? Who's left?
You need a patch.
By the way, what if they got a patch on their eye?
Well, they don't have an eye there. You can't do it, but
Like my dog. My dog has like an eye that just definitely lost sight, and I don't want to look at that eye. Oh my God.
No.
Anyway, that's one of the reasons I like going to restaurants. Because if I'm with my boyfriend, we go to a restaurant, we're forced to look at each other and not at like the phone or wandering off into the ozone. You're forced to pay attention to each other. I think that's why I like going out.
Yeah.
Because there's no distractions except for the people around you, which,
and phones.
In this case, there'll be nobody around you. Like, I heard that one conversation, like, four to a table max, and then there's like a certain amount of space between everybody. So everybody's in their own little island.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how we do this opening. I don't know. I've been Georgia.
Oh, you're opening?
No, Georgia's getting a lot of flack.
Georgia, yeah. They called me to see if I wanted surgery because I have to have surgery. And they called me from the doctor's office and said, "Do you want to schedule?" I'm like, "What are you nuts? I'm not scheduling shit."
You know why? So I mean, but
get myself exposed to, first of all, lowering my immune system, and then exposed to all kinds of shit that's in the hospital. No, thank you.
I know.
Don't tell Kamala says I prefer staying side by side. Why? It's probably because you want to grab onto someone. But
you're not looking at each other. But if you like to touch each other, I mean, we've done that where we've sat side by side. But I usually end up sitting sideways in the chair, or if it's a booth, you sit kind of sideways so you're facing each other, except for when you're eating. But but that's a great way to do another practice that I teach. It's called the Tantra feeding ritual, which is really fun. Mark and I have done it numerous times, and I teach it in my programs.
I like this.
And it's where you feed each other dinner or a meal. So it's like you order what you want.
Let's just say this is after the whole COVID thing. You don't want to be feeding anybody right now.
Well, no. Here's the thing. He would order his meal, I would order mine, and then we'd switch plates. And so everything on the plate in front of me is his, and I would serve him. So I would dish up a bite and feed it to him. With his fork. Right. And I would give him a sip of his drink, and he would do mine. And you learn so much about each other. When the first time we did it, we were just shocked. A couple of things. One is that we had no clue how we like to eat a meal. The order we like to eat it, or how big a bite, or how often we wanted a bite, or any of that. So just real quick, King T, yes, I have 2 YouTube channels. One is the Conscious Living Show, and one is the Sex Host Doctor, or Dr. Nancy Sutton Pierce. So you can find me there. So you do you feed each other, and so you're learning tons about each other.
I love that.
The other thing is you realize how much more quickly you become satiated with the meal. You eat a lot less because you're eating slower. Because you're taking time to give your partner food. You're not just shoveling your food in your mouth. It's like
you're not moving fast enough. Okay, I'm getting hungry here.
Yeah. And
you know what? This reminds me.
It's fun.
Completely off topic.
Okay.
But kind of on topic. At my wedding, I was, when I first got married to my husband. Like you're just taking a little bite of the cake, and they're taking pictures. The photographer's taking pictures.
Yeah.
And so the photographer is giving. First, he says, give your husband a bite of the cake. So I take a nice fork, and I take a forkful of cake, and I give it to him very nicely, and he eats it. It's yummy. And then they say, okay, it's your turn. Give it to Karen. And he takes the cake, and the guy say, just push it in her face. He smashed it in my face.
No.
What the fuck?
I'd punch him.
On my wedding, I almost did, because I'm like, do you know how long I took for this goddamn makeup?
I think that is. I don't know where that tradition started, but it had to be an adolescent bride or groom. That is.
We were 23 years old, of course.
But I think it's so disrespectful and rude to start off abusing your partner.
That's what happened. So you know what I did? I went right to my dad. And I go, no, you gotta marry him. Speaking of my dad, it would have been my dad's 91st birthday yesterday.
Oh.
Let's make a toast.
Okay, here's
Harold Buddy.
Here's to Dad.
Harold Buddy. Here's to my daddy. Great dad. Everyone should have a dad like my dad.
That's high praise.
So my dad, he comforted me and he said, "Don't divorce him quite yet." But it was almost the quickest divorce ever.
I hate that. I think that's rude and it's disrespectful. So I don't think it's a funny thing to do, especially like you said, you're in your beautiful gown you've spent $1,000 or more on, and you know.
No, at that time I got a deal of $500.
Okay, well, but you know, how long ago was that?
That was I was 23 years old, so I don't know. That was a long fucking time ago. What wine selection tonight? King T wants to know. Well, I've got a Sauvignon Blanc from this Bacon Wines, and I gotta tell you, I'm glad I bought 2 bottles of this. It's called Black Conus or Iaconus. I don't even know, but it's a white, and I normally am not a big fan of the Sauvignon Blanc, but it's a good stuff.
Karen is spoiled.
Think,
this is a Pinot Noir, and it's Meiomi. So I like that one.
I like Meiomi.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah. You know what I love about wine? It's like as you're drinking it together with someone, it kind of like comes alive, and just like you really it changes. It's like vodka doesn't change,
No.
Rum doesn't change, but
wine
speaks.
Grows. Yeah. So somebody asked, who? So photo concoma. Who are you asking if they're Italian? Which one of us?
Me, I'm guessing 100%. Everybody always asks if I'm Italian. Or if I'm from New York. Neither of which is true.
Isn't that funny?
No, my boyfriend's from New York. It's rubbing off on me.
He is definitely from New York.
No doubt about the New Yorker. Oh my God. King Teach, you're watching too much porn lately. Is that bad? No. It's fine.
It's entertainment. As long as you don't view it as education and you understand it's pure entertainment, then go for it.
Yeah, we're under like severe circumstances here. If you want to eat porn, you use porn. Enjoy porn.
Well, Pornhub is one of the companies that has enjoyed a huge boost.
All these camming companies, everything.
Oh my gosh.
I think Brent Finley, what is it? We're representing somebody right now. I can't remember. Enter code MOM and you can get a discount.
Yeah.
I think it's oh God, I can't remember now.
So
anyway.
Okay, when you figure that out, come back. But how do you feel about the idea of porn addiction? Do you think that is such a thing? Like sex? Do you think sex addiction is a thing? So.
Well, I had a guy who I was seeing for like a year, but we'd see each other like once every 2 months, and I had a hotel room, and it was like wow. My friend ended up getting sick; she had to leave, so I was like, I got a hotel room. Come on over here, fuck my brains out. He's like, I don't know, I have to go out of town tomorrow. I'm like, are you kidding me? Get out of town tomorrow. I got this hotel room, and you got me. And so he ended up coming, literally. And afterwards, he's like, yeah, man, I'm so glad I did that. I was thinking I might as well just watch porn and jerk off instead. It was the first thought that came into his mind. I should have watched porn and jerk off. So do I think it's an addiction? I think it's not like necessarily an addiction the same way I think of gambling or drugs, but I definitely think it's a psychological addiction maybe that, it takes a lot. If it starts interfering with your life, I think it could be considered somewhat compulsive. And what do you think?
Well, psychologically, it's not an addiction. It was taken out of the DSM, and it's like Freud thought that women had didn't really have orgasms with the clitoris. They thought that homosexuality. They thought homosexuality was a deviant mental illness. So the more we learn about sexuality, the more we realize that there's a broad span of normal, that it's all kind of natural.
I Can I just say something about Freud and the penis? Freud and the clit. I'd like to see Freud have an orgasm without touching his dick.
Really? Really? I mean, they call those wet dreams, but you're usually 12.
Anyway.
But so sex addiction.
You think it's an addiction?
I don't think sex addiction is a thing. But I think
it's a compulsion.
No, I think it's an obsessive compulsive disorder that's manifested through sexual activity or masturbation, just like it can be manifested through not stepping on cracks, washing your hands a bazillion times, which we all have now, and you know, some other obsessive compulsive disorder manifestation. So just because it's a masturbation doesn't mean that it's a sex addiction. It's like I don't have a hand washing addiction or a stepping on crack addiction.
Right.
I have OCD and it's manifested this way because no. But what I'm saying is, you know, what people would say.
Yeah.
But I think because we have such sexual hangups that when somebody has a high sex drive and they're with somebody that has a low sex drive, the low sex drive person feels out of sync, and they're usually, it's the high sex drive person that's generally trying to change the low sex drive person. And so what the low sex drive person does is they try to pathologize the high sex drive person by calling them a sex addict. And there's a lot of people that have been sent to therapy because they were mismatched with their partner, not because they had a problem, but because they just were high sex drive. So what I do a lot, I work with a lot of people with the mismatched sex drives, and you go, this has to be negotiated because you both have the right to meet your needs. As a low sex drive person, you have the right to say, no, I'm not interested in sex, but you don't have the right to tell your partner they can never have sex again.
Right.
And just
or that they shouldn't masturbate, or they shouldn't watch porn in order to get off, or they shouldn't use vibrators, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And
there has to be a compromise.
So the young man's King Teat says sex is an addiction. That's why most men cheat on their women. That's absolutely a myth. That is not true. Women and men cheat equally, and for different reasons.
I love that men cheating. They have to cheat with a woman if they're heterosexual. So what does that mean? I never understand the slut shaming for the woman when obviously the man is just as big a slut.
Right.
So we're all sluts.
Men and women cheat for different reasons, and it's generally because the majority of human beings are not designed to be monogamous. And then we have this culture.
I would agree with this.
We have this culture that demands it has created this arbitrary default button that monogamy is the norm, which it isn't. And so we try to fit ourselves into that little shoebox, and we fail. And so then we're considered pathologic because I have never been monogamous, ever. That's just not my nature. But I haven't hidden it either. So, I think
I'm so proud of you for that, because you are from the same generation as me, which grew up thinking you must be monogamous or you're a whore.
I had 2 boyfriends in high school I dated at the same time. They knew it. I just said, I'm not.
As long as you tell them, I mean, I think it's just a matter of agreement you have with your partner.
If you're,
And then what is like non-monogamy? Is it like if you have sex with someone in the same room with someone else, is that monogamy? I mean, to me, the only time it's cheating is if one person thinks it's one way and the other person thinks it's the other way.
Well, here's how I define cheating on any level. If what you're doing isn't something you would do with your partner standing right there, you're cheating. Yeah. If it's spending money and your partner wouldn't know about it, if it's saying something, flirting, dancing, whatever you're doing, if it's without the knowledge of your partner, then you're cheating. It doesn't have to be sexual.
Yeah. Unless your agreement is, hey, we're monogamous unless the other person wants to do something else, and then is open about it. Hey, like I knew this guy. He's like, I said, he's always with some other woman, and he's married. And I go, what's with that? And does your wife know you're doing this? He goes, I'm like, what did he say to me? I'm married. Something about him not, as long as he makes her happy at home, it doesn't matter what he does. So he's lying to her. And I think that it's just disgusting to lie to somebody, make them look like a fool.
That I totally agree.
It's just me.
I mean, I love the term designer relationship. And I think every relationship is its own design. And I think it's a responsibility of both people to be open and honest within that relationship so that they can either, okay, my first husband, he cheated on me. We had an agreement, a verbal, consensual agreement that he was in the Navy and he was out to sea, that we wouldn't have sex with other people. That was our agreement. And
you were monogamous.
Yes, and it was hard. I was living in San Diego. Listen, I'm 19 years old. I'm living in San Diego, and I am surrounded by military men, Marines, sailors, Air Force. You name it, they were there. And I was a good girl because we had an agreement. And then I found out later that when he was in the Philippines, he was fucking around. I was so pissed off, not because he had sex with other people, but because I didn't.
And he broke an agreement.
Well, I was pissed because I didn't. I'm like, oh my God, do you know who I passed up? I passed up this guy and this guy, this guy. I could have been having the time of my life, 19 years old, living in San Diego. I would have had a blast. And he denied me of that.
Uniform, those Navy SEALs, goddamn.
I mean, so
the bodies on those
so
guys.
I'm like, okay, dude, things are changing.
This guy, what is this? Photo Cantama, lost opportunity. There's a lost opportunity.
Oh, I know. Believe me. That's what I was the most upset about. Not that he.
You have to be. You gotta be though. Both of you have to be pretty strong people to allow the other person the freedom to do what they want to do.
Okay.
Without feeling insecure yourself.
So you just said a word that is one of my triggers.
Well, when I say allow,
what
feeling insecure yourself.
Well, you can.
I don't allow.
You can feel insecure, but that doesn't give you the right not to allow. So my feeling is if you both come to the table and you can be honest with each other and you say, if the opportunity arises.
Now, can you be honest? But can you be honest?
Well, you can.
Most people are scared. Most people are scared to be honest.
And so instead of being honest, they lie. And then what happens when they get found out? Because chances are they will.
Yeah.
And now they have guilt. And the thing that I have found that really separates couples, that gets in the way of their intimacy, is a secret. Because a secret, if I'm having sex with Bob over here, and Mark doesn't know that I'm playing with Bob, now Bob and I have a bond that is leaving Mark out of that.
Right.
And so now I have a secret with Bob. Now that puts a wedge between Mark and I.
So when do you tell Mark, for example, before you do something, after, or it doesn't really matter as long as you tell at some point?
This wasn't. Oh, I mean, well, I don't share details on online about what we do and how our agreement is.
No, I'm not like when is this agreement?
This was with another husband. But
yeah, no, I realize that.
But my feeling is.
Husbands.
But my feeling is about a designer relationship is that it's the two people that decide how much they want to know and when they want to know it. I know couples that are in the lifestyle, the swinging lifestyle, and they don't really want to know the details. They don't care. They have an open marriage.
When do they share? When do they share? Like before they have this thing, or after, or during, or just all depends on the relationship?
It all depends on the relationship, and whether, because I know one couple, he really didn't want to know when she was having her experiences. He didn't want to know about it. They just had the openness that if she had an opportunity and she took it, that was her experience. That was her privacy.
Right.
And he didn't feel like he needed to know. Whereas other people want to know and they want to be a part of it. That's part of their intimacy, is to know all of those little details of their partner's life. That has to be decided on between the two people. There's no rule that says one has to be.
Or some people might want to say only if I'm there.
If the couple agrees upon that. I'm not a big fan of rules. And the reason for that I've seen in, I've been counseling people in the swinging lifestyle for about 15 years. And the thing I've seen happen is as soon as somebody creates a rule, like if I say, well, you can do everything, but you can't kiss her. Now, I'm doing the same thing that I would do in monogamy. I've created another monogamy agreement that he's going to have to abide by to stay true to me. Or cheat. Right? So he's got two choices. If he accidentally kisses somebody because it's what he's driven to do at that time, now he has to feel guilty about it. If he tells me he's afraid of consequences, and then, or he has to hide it. Those are not good choices. So, so I think the healthiest thing that people can come to is to realize that they don't own each other's sex. They don't own each other's organs. They don't own each other's decisions. They don't have the right to tell this other fully fledged adult what to do, what to think, how to behave, how to live. None of that. That's not our right. Even if you're married, that's not you didn't buy this person. You married them. And so you realize that, it's just a privilege to be walking this walk alongside you. And I want to be able to see who you fully are. And as you evolve, I want to be able to be there and know and be a part of that. And if I've set up rules for you, you're going to have to hide that from me. Now, I'm never going to get to know who you really are.
Right. And
that's sad.
And the weird thing about this whole thing is that it can change. You can say you guys have this agreement, well, we can go do what we want and then come back together and have great sex and whatever. But then maybe one of the people say, this is just not working for me anymore. Now the agreement has to change. Then what do you do?
I'm sorry, say that again. I was trying to read a couple.
I'm saying, what happens if one of the people decides this is just not working for me? I feel insecure. I feel sick to my stomach every time you have sex with someone else. What do you do?
Then I think that's not a good relationship for you. I mean, I think couples break up for all kinds of reasons, right? And generally it's because it's a mismatch. I've been counseling a couple recently, and they just have very different needs in life right now. She's ready to settle down and have a family. He's not. So what do? Does one of them force the other to be like they want them to be? That doesn't work. So it doesn't really matter what you disagree on. If you cannot find common ground that you can negotiate where you both feel happy and like your needs are being met and you feel heard and loved and safe and desired and all those things we want to feel, then perhaps this is not the right relationship for you. You can be two great people who are not great for each other anymore.
Right. Yeah. People change. My mom said to me, she was married for I don't know how many years, 62 years. She said, marriage is a working contract. I like that. It's a working contract. It's always going to be fluid and changing, and you got to communicate. And then you have to be able to trust your partner, obviously, no matter what. Let's see your sexy body, babes. Why do you have to do that, D. Maria Samuel?
That's my thought.
I mean, really? Why?
Well, I think that
any books you sell, Nancy, he's going to buy one. Hey, I have a book, King Teach. It's called Fuck Games Date Cougars. Go buy that one. You'll love it.
So somebody just asked me, is poly the solution? And absolutely not. I don't think there's one solution for every couple. I think there's for every couple on the planet, there's a different design. So you can't ever. Tina just laughed and said, "I've never seen you give the camera the finger before." Well, somebody was asking us to take our clothes off, so don't ask us that shit.
And don't ask if you play with yourself. God bless it. If you have something to say, think about if you would say that to your mom.
Who is this?
You probably wouldn't ask your mom if she plays with herself.
Who is it? You need to block.
Answer the question.
We need to block that out.
No, don't block him.
Like,
I'm not blocking him.
Seriously?
Let him make his own embarrassing choices.
What kind of idiot asks that of grown women? Of course we do.
I was going to say,
you had, listen, man, if you had all this, wouldn't you play with it?
I mean, seriously.
What a jackass.
Yeah, that's better than being having sex. It's just doing your own thing and not having to worry about anybody else in the room.
Tina says, you guys,
working it all.
because they deserve it. So, equals, partners, compromise, give and take. Yeah, it's all, everything's negotiable in life. And relationships are a constant negotiation. I drove my husband crazy the first 5 years we were married because, one, I was never getting married again. I had made that commitment to myself and I fucked that up. And then I got married again. And so then, my first marriage was not a good relationship. Toxic, he was mean, abusive, horrible. So I swore I'd never ever.
Can I just tell you, I'm always shocked about that because you have, I guess in some ways he gave you the opportunity to become the woman that you are.
Oh, definitely.
Because you wouldn't know. Otherwise, if you didn't know about this other side and you could be in an abusive relationship, you would never have moved into the relationship that you are now.
Right. Well, and I have to give myself props because I was very young when we got married. I was 17 and a half or something. We stayed married till I was almost 25. But I had always said, if anybody ever laid a hand on me, I was out of there. Well, the first time he laid a hand on me, I couldn't leave. I had a little toddler. I was in nursing. I was in nursing school. I was trapped, but I told him, if you've had your one, and so after like 6 months, of course he went into the whole remorse time and being on his good behavior and all that bullshit that they do in that cycle of abuse, and then he hit me again. He threw a bar stool across the room, a big wood bar stool at me. And then hit me in the head. And so then I was like, that's two. First one, you're screwed. Second one, if I stay, I'm the asshole. Guess what? I'm out of here. And I had a 3-year-old. I was 6 months away from graduating from nursing school. And I just said, I'm done. I can't do this. And I was afraid for my life. I thought for sure I was going to end up dead. And I had nightmares. I learned to use a gun. I had a gun. I was scared. I was 24 years old and scared out of my mind. And so that will never happen again. And so
I don't think anybody investigated him.
No. So fast forward, being married to Mark.
I'm more scared of you messing with someone else.
I have knocked a few people on their ass, I have to tell you. So fast forward to being married to Mark, I wanted to make damn sure that he wanted to be with me as much as I wanted to be with him. That neither of us would ever feel like they were trapped or stuck. Because I know how bad it felt to be trapped, and I sure as shit would not want him to ever feel that way. So I made him renegotiate our marriage every year for our anniversary. So I would
That's
say,
what I'm talking about. They were just a working contract. Yeah.
So as we would come up on our November anniversary, I would say, "So you're gonna re-up?" And he would go, "What?" I go, "Well, it's time to re-up. You know, are you signing up for another year?" And he'd go, he'd think I was kidding. Well, after the 5th year, he was like, the only time he ever has been irritated with me, and he's like, "I didn't sign up. I didn't marry you to have to do this every year. I don't want to have to worry you're going to leave me. I'm in it for the long haul." And I go, "Would you like to do a 5-year stint?"
Yeah. What are you at right now? Are you in a 10-year?
No, I think we're in it for the long haul. We're at coming up on 27 years married. We've been together 36. So, I think we're doing okay.
I don't get that. You're only 40. How can that be possible? We'll figure that numbers out later.
I was 9, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I had kids when I was 12.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So my friend Linda just piped in. She's listening, and she says, "Yes, you have," because she's one of my witnesses to throwing a guy on his ass in Mexico. So that was an interesting experience where I had to knock a guy back on his ass in front of my girlfriends. He was coming at us, and
if anybody comes at you, I'm hiding behind you.
Well, my husband's a 5th degree black belt in Kempo karate, and so I've learned a lot of tools from him, and one of them I had to use in Mexico with this when this guy I had to use it twice in Mexico, actually. This one guy was
hanging around in Mexico that you need to use it twice
at a resort. At a resort.
That's not funny.
It is not funny at all. No.
When do you go to Jamaica all the time?
I don't go back to Mexico. I mean, sadly, it was bad. I mean, I've had to use it in Jamaica a couple times, but less so. It's like,
oh my God. Well, I gotta say, it must be having fun if that kind of thing starts happening.
Well, my friend Linda says it was awesome and funny at the same time. Yeah.
People that are drinking get a little belligerent, but if people are smoking, they tend to not act like that. And I noticed that in Amsterdam. I was in Amsterdam before weed was legal or anything here. And I was watching at a bar. Like everybody, they're all smoking bongs and doing all these things, and then some people are playing pool, and they're all high-fiving when the other guy gets it in there. I'm like, if this was a drinking bar, people would be like hitting each other over the head with pool sticks. You know what I mean? They're just like nuts.
Yeah, I've witnessed many a bar fight. My parents, we used to go to a little gold mining town in California up on the Yuba River called Washington Town. Population 150, and that included the dogs.
And how many of them were doing meth?
Well, back when I was a kid, none, but everybody was just drinking because they had the old hotel, the Washington Hotel, which if you Google Washington, California, Washington Town, California, it's just crazy cute. But Wyatt Earp slept in the hotel. Matt Dillon. I mean, they had this old register, hundreds of years old register that had all these gold miners because it was right on the Yuba, which was where that gold vein was. And so when I was a teenager, and we would go there my parents had a little cabin there, so we'd go there every other weekend from the time I was 11 until my parents passed away.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, but it would get a little rough. So we would be at the bar, like on the big weekends, and all the bikers would come in, which I love the bikers. Like, oh, Hell's Angels, they were like the best people ever. Seriously. Cool guys.
Sons of Anarchy. I'm like, really?
Yeah, I had kind of a thing for bad boys, but people would
I figured that out.
Would drink and start having these bar fights, and this bartender named Little Joe, he was probably 150 years old at the time, like 5 feet tall, barely could see over the bar, this long gray beard. He looked just like what you would imagine, little old miner, and he'd get up at the bar with a pool cue and just start pounding people over the head. I mean, it was just nuts. So I've seen, my friend Linda's going, the biker story.
Oh, she got the biker story. If you ever watch Sons of Anarchy, I love that show so much that I saw a bunch of bikers when I was up in the wine country. I saw a bunch of bikers, and I stopped, and I just have to ask you, is this similar to Sons of Anarchy? This is the real deal? They're like, no, it's not similar. There's a couple things that are the same in terms of the bike clubs, but Sons of Anarchy, man, that show was.
Yeah.
I love that show.
The Hells, there were some other bike clubs that weren't so nice, like a group called the Misfits. They were pretty raw, pretty mean.
I'm sure there were plenty of bad boys though.
But the Hells Angels were actually really respectful. Yeah.
Jax is my man. Jax is the lead. I forgot what's his name in real life. Oh my God, is he hot? Oh my God. Anyway, I'm Katie Seagal on that show. I love that show.
Yeah. Hot times. So yeah. So I think we have to. Everything's negotiable in relationships, and you have to be willing to talk things through and be honest. If
all right. So I got a question. If you could be quarantined with any celebrity right now, they got to be alive. Who would it be?
They have to be alive.
Just and not. They have to be alive. It can't be Elvis.
If I could quarantine with anybody, they have to be famous, because I have a few people I wouldn't mind quarantining with. But I can't.
He says Angelina. Oh, Mr. Bean says Liberace. Liberace is the man. I got a couple. You can have two or three. How's that? All right. Would you rather do George Clooney or Brad Pitt? Or is Alba? I got three. George Clooney.
I mean, I've actually had George has been on my vision board for a long time. I've had this feeling like I need to meet him for some reason.
Okay, and then you can fuck him.
No, I actually haven't had the desire to fuck him. But I've had this draw that I needed to meet him for some reason. In fact, Mark and I were in Lake Como last year, and I was looking for him.
Wait a second. Pete would go with Mr. Pitt, and Mr. Bean likes Mr. Ed. A horse is a horse, of course.
Oh my God, I love that show.
That's what happens when I start drinking at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, so my friend Tina would like to be locked up with Queen Latifah. She would be fun. Definitely, she'd be.
I met her.
Did you?
Her I met, yes. She is a really nice lady. Very nice.
Very cool.
All right, I would also add Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce.
Yeah, he's fucking hot.
Yeah?
I could go with that. Yeah, I like the way he dances and sings, and he's got endurance, and you talk about a bad boy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sheeply, Mr. Bean is up in Maine, and he has sheep. And he said sheep. Idris too. Yes, Charlton is in. That's what he said. Idris Elba is freaking amazingly hot. You know the one from The Wire?
From what?
The Wire.
Yeah.
And I think he's also on another show. Don't go with that. Donald Trump. No, he is so not hot. As a matter of fact, I can't handle the I don't know if it's a spray on tan. I think, but he's got the weight around circles around like he's wearing goggles. This is what he's doing. Instead of worrying about the world, he's got self tanning going on, and his lips are white too. It's a very bizarre situation.
I have no doubt that man smells really bad. I just have no doubt.
Oh, he's got to be literally the worst in bed.
Yeah.
So self-centered. I can't even imagine how bad he's in bed.
I'm going to lose my wine here. I am so disgusted right now. I can't. No. Get that out of my head. That's like gross beyond gross. No. I can't.
Who would you least likely want to be quarantined with? Donald Trump.
Yes.
Or maybe Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un or Donald Trump.
I would take Kim Jong-un over Donald Trump. That's how bad I think Trump is.
No way.
Yeah. At least I could learn Chinese.
All right. All you people in the
Mandarin.
chat, who do you guys want to be quarantined with? He couldn't find his wiener schnitzel. He's looking around.
The Cheeto, yeah. It's like, oh. So all my friends want to meet you.
I'm right here in Los Angeles. Come party with me and Nance when we ever get into the year 2025 party together.
Now, when we're let out of jail.
I feel like I'm in jail.
Seriously.
I'm in prison.
We've all been imprisoned in our own homes. Now, I say that, and then I have to pause and go,
Right,
no, we're safe in our own homes. We are safe.
Yeah.
And, when I start...
all the people that are lined up on the streets in tents, it's horrible. It's just terrible.
Yeah. And
All right, so let's not go down that road with the martial law. One more. Okay, so you guys, who would you rather be quarantined with?
Yeah, all right, on my Facebook group, who would you want to be quarantined with? So...
Yes, we want to know. And it could be, all right, we're going to allow you to have dead people too. Like if somebody wants to be quarantined with
a dead person.
Tom Petty. No, Tom Petty was not good looking, but I think I have a thing for rock musicians. Well, can anybody come up with anybody else? Sandra Bullock.
Bullock.
Sandra
Yeah.
Bullock. Weirdly enough, people say I look like Sandra Bullock. I don't see it, but I've gotten it a number of times.
I mean, I can see how people would say it. If you had darker hair, yeah, I think you would look more like her.
Maybe I should dye my hair dark and look like Sandra Bullock.
There you go.
Bullock. Sid Wilder, Nancy. Okay, Mr. Bean, Sid Wilder, we had her on our show. That's what we was talking about, Sid Wilder. She's a wild chick. Or Nancy.
Oh, thank you. So, Linda said, I've had a few people say they want to quarantine with me, and Linda, my friend Linda, wants to quarantine with Jesus since he turns water into wine.
Yeah, I bet he was damn good at that.
The hot Jesus thing. I mean, I'm not religious at all. I'm very spiritual, but I have no religious affiliation. Thank goodness. Thank my parents for not pushing that on me. So I've not had anything I've had to recover from.
Right.
But that movie, the Bible, when it came out, the hot Jesus, that gave me all kinds of weird fantasies about Jesus. I gotta say. He was hot.
Oh man.
They really needed to make him ugly.
Growing up, who did you have a huge crush on?
The Monkees.
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones.
I was a member of the fan club.
What?
I was a member of the.
You was a member of the fan club?
Yep. Davy Jones. He was my guy.
Speaking of Jones, what about Tom Jones?
He made me nervous. I never really thought. I thought he was a little sleazy.
I like sleazy.
Did you? But I did like Elvis, so I don't know what do you make of that.
I knew it.
I can still.
He wasn't sleazy at all.
I can still remember where I was and what I was doing when I heard on the radio that he had died. That was an impactful moment.
Yeah, I remember when John F. Kennedy died, where I was.
Yeah. I remember I was in grade school. So, yeah, I remember that too.
No, I wouldn't mind being quarantined with John F. Kennedy Jr. Since we're going with people that are no longer with us.
That's another hot one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the guy that played Jax on Sons of Anarchy. What's his name?
I don't know his name.
Adorable. I can't remember anything. I'm still trying to remember the
So Jane Seymour is, somebody just said Jane Seymour. You know, that woman has aged so beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
She is still gorgeous and fairly natural. I mean, she's not done a whole lot. My friend Ava knows her well. Oh no, it ended. Hold on, I gotta get Karen back on here. I think we went too long. Hey, so this is part 2. Obviously, Karen and I went too long, and so Instagram canceled us, and so Facebook may do the same thing at an hour. I'm not really sure, and so we're back here to try to get this going again to at least say goodbye. So let's see if we can get this back up. So Charlie Hunan is Jax. Okay, I'll tell Karen. All right, so we'll get back up here. I guess Instagram has a let's see, an unknown view. Let me try this, Karen. All right, so we're gonna add. All right. So weird. All right, Karen's coming back.
Charlie Hinman, yes.
Yes. Is it Hinman or somebody said Hunan? I guess that's wrong. So
whatever.
So you know we got cut off, right? So does
I called you to tell you that we were cut off.
Does Instagram just stop videos at an hour?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, now we have part 2 coming because we still have things to talk about.
Part 2.
All right.
Oh my God, I have to be somewhat sober after this to record something for our podcast.
Do you?
So in case you guys don't know who I am, I'm Karen Lee Potter, host of my own YouTube show, Karen Lee Potter, and also Sex Talk with My Mom, the podcast.
Yes.
Which is right here, right there. That's me
so
as the
cute.
cougar, not a squirrel, and that's my son.
Do people think you're a squirrel? No.
Look at that. The tail is kind of squirrel-like, isn't it? Look at this.
Yeah, it does look a little squirrel-like.
It's a squirrel-like tail. Yeah. But anyway, so that's who I am. And this is my good friend Nancy.
We
Just
have.
introduce yourself.
So I am Nancy Sutton Pierce, Dr. Nancy Sutton Pierce, and I'm my resume is too long to talk about, but I'm actually, my current job is a clinical sexologist. So I have a doctorate in human sexuality, and I counsel people online about their relationships, their love lives, their challenges, their, how they feel about themselves sexually. If they've just, I see people for 15 minutes who want to know, am I normal? Which is probably the most common question I get.
Isn't that crazy? Am I normal for liking cougars?
Right.
I hear that all the time.
Am I normal for liking whatever? Is masturbation normal? That's probably one of the most common questions I get. And usually it's...
And it is.
It is normal.
And it is normal. It's actually more than normal. It's healthy.
Yes. Sex is healthy. If you have healthy sex.
Sex is healthy. Healthy sex. Talk to me and you could write a book. Okay, thank you. Anyway, well, it's been wonderful speaking with you today, as always. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, look at that. We'll try to catch you next week, guys. One day we're going to do a little test to see if we can put us all on like Facebook Live or YouTube Live or something live or Instagram Live or TikTok.
All right.
I'm on TikTok now, Nancy.
I know. I've seen your TikToks. They're so cute. I love them.
Thank you.
So
TikTok is what I do to have sanity during this quarantine time.
You are so fun on those. It just makes me laugh. It's totally uplifting.
That's the idea. My life is to make people laugh.
So my friend Douglas says he wants to hang out with Martha Stewart because she's an undercover freak. You'd eat very well after playtime.
Or you'll eat during playtime.
Right, and you sleep on some really nice sheets.
And she ended up going to jail, if I remember correctly.
Well, she was kind of on house arrest.
Shiny. Look at this, I'm like shining right now.
She wore one of those nice little anklets for a while.
Oh, Martha Stewart.
Yeah, I think it's kind of makes her badass. I think there's something kind of cool about that.
Totally.
It's like being our age and having a tattoo. Kind of hot.
Man.
Do you have any tattoos?
I got none, but I think I'm going to get one of these days. I'm too too scared of if I would have changed my mind. Since the Libra in me changes their mind, it doesn't make decisions very well. So the only thing I could think of is doing a Libra on my ass.
Put it where you can see it. I would suggest that. At least your first one. I have one on my inner left ankle, and I'm
guessing you have more than one.
No, I just have one.
That's it. What is it?
It's an Om.
What does it say?
It's an Om with a lotus flower above it. I designed it. Om. So yeah. So.
Namaste.
But I do want to get a couple on my ass. I'm working on that next.
Well, you can't see it.
I know, but I know somebody who can. So. Just saying.
You're gonna have to show us after you do it. We're gonna have to have a display. Anyway, all right. I love you, girl.
No doubt that will happen. My ass is all over the internet. So if you haven't seen my ass before, you haven't watched my social media.
I love that. I love a woman of any age that's as confident as showing off their body, because why not? But especially our age.
Yeah. Well, I do it for a couple reasons. One is it's fun, and it makes my husband happy because he's my photographer.
Yeah.
And two is because
which is so unique right there, by the way.
And the other
my husbands are like, I don't want my wife doing any of that shit. You're like, he wants you to. That's pretty cool.
Well, and Mark is very particular in terms of he doesn't post my pictures. It's for me to choose to do. So,
yeah,
but he enjoys taking the pictures, and he certainly enjoys seeing them. So, that's a kind of a win-win. And then the other reason is because I have 4 granddaughters. I have 3 daughters. I have another grandchild on the way. I don't know what gender. And I want them all to know that being sexy and feeling confident in your body and your sexuality doesn't have an expiration date. And that they don't have to worry, at 17 or 25 or 40 that they're over the hill.
Right.
That's a bunch of bullshit that society tells you. It's not true. So
never.
So I keep doing.
We're never going to be over the hill.
Keep doing what I do until I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. All right then.
All right.
I think that's as good a time as ever to say goodbye.
Okay. So I'll see you Monday
what you're doing.
For a quickie. We'll do a quickie little. We're having a quickie on Monday, and we'll back here Thursday for our long kiss goodnight.
Good night.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right, how do I end this? All right, we're done here. Let's see. Okay, that was fun. Get a kiss, lips, tattoo on a sexy booty. All right, thanks you guys for participating. Much love. See you next week.